And hello again, race fans. Back for race number 2 here at Atlanta Motorsports Park in the Summer Series. We've got the Spec Miatas and company out getting ready to roll out. And if it's anything like the first race, this one ought to be a humdinger. So get ready to get your ding hummed. And we are waiting for the cars to get on the track to take their first and only pace lap this time around. There'll be one pace lap for this one, I understand. And we have our drone back in action again. Had a little bit of an issue at the end of the last race. So we're getting ready to go. So our starting lineup will be Matt Seach, Keegan Hall. They were 1 and 2 in their respective classes in race number 1. Then will come Blake Fabiani, the winner of barely the winner of the Spec Miata class. Then Keith Williamson, who came in second by 3/1,000ths of a second, which was quite the finish to observe here at the start-finish line. Then row 3 will be Kyle Haney and Radon Nickel. Row 4 will be Steve Caney and Chris Hune. Row 5 will be Jeremy Durst and Jeff Terrell. Row 6 will be Don Elvington and Steve Denton. Row 7 will be Bill Kring and Jeremy Buckingham. Row 8, Matt White and Scott Carlisle. And row 9 will be Rodriguez Walker and Mike Conrad. And as we speak, this one underway very shortly here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Been a beautiful day here, not cloud free, but enough to keep the sun from getting too hot. A little bit of breeze up here from our broadcast position, but it's been pleasant, and the racing has been even hotter.
I mean, I'll take it, Bill, because from here out, it's just going to be a crapshoot, whether it's boiling, baking hot up here on the roof or
merely boiling hot.
Well, it is Georgia, so we could be covered in snow for all you know.
That is true.
Or tornadoes or hurricanes or any manner of Mother Nature that she wants to throw at us. But we will knock on wood up here because we've had good weather here the past couple race days, and we hope the trend continues this year.
So I think we have a couple more entrants left on pit road, whether they're pulling out or not. I see movement inside of one of them.
Well, it is only 2:22. I think our
when are we set to roll off?
Official grid release is at 2:25, so we've got about 3 minutes to go, which means we're going to have to entertain you folks at home with our commentary.
Our snappy repartee.
And we do appreciate y'all tuning in right now. We are currently waiting on race number 2 to get started here. First up is group number 2, the Spec Miata Spec E30 in Legends. That car you see up front is one of the new ST4 classes, so that is actually a BMW that is not in the Spec E30, so he's running his own race. Alongside with that Legends car you see right there, he is in his own field. And everybody behind them is part of the Spec Miata or Spec E30 field. And they will be running their race, and so that'll be most of the action we call here today. Although we will call the whole group as a field, but keep in mind there are about 3 or 4 individual races going on in this one group. So as you can see, those Spec E30s coming into view right now. And then behind them are some more Miatas. These guys are always back and forth on lap times. The Miatas are a tad bit quicker, but the Spec E30s definitely hold their own on the grid. They're a great car. You can rub them door to door, bang them as much as you want, come back in the pits, beat it out with a sledgehammer, then go back out for race number 2.
We saw a bit of that, especially at the tail end of race number 1. as Williamson and Fabiani were practically in a dead heat. Like I said, 3/1000ths of a second made the difference there. And then Kyle Haney and young Raiden Nickel weren't that much farther apart there for third and fourth.
There goes our field getting released. And it looks like they have decided to do a little bit of a reverse grid, because I'm seeing Blake Fabiani's car all the way in the back there, as he was your Spec Miata winner from race 1. So I think him and Keith Williamson electing to start in the back so they can have some people to race against here. So we will see how this goes. Although I'm trying to see who all is in the back. It looks like just Blake took that start in the back. I think Williamson might be up front.
Williamson's up near the front. Now, was that by choice, or was it because he was later to the grid?
It could have been late to the grid. That'd be something I'd have to ask him after the race. Although he was your race 1 winner, so expect him to make short work of the field.
So they don't spin the big wheel and invert whatever the number is that comes up?
I honestly don't know what his reasoning is. We can probably check in and get back with y'all next month.
I'm sure that'll be the burning question on everyone's mind when we come back next month.
Unfortunately, I left my trackside reporter at home, so we can't go down there and ask while we're live and on air. And that awesome drone shot here as the field goes through turn number 6. This is an angle y'all typically don't get during the race, because we try not to keep that drone over track when it's hot. But you can kind of see some of the camber change there. It's where a lot of great racing action, a lot of passing happens in that turn. And you can see them as they take off. The field takes off over the hill in turn number 7, as we will pull the drone back in, do a quick battery change. As our field makes its way to the back side of the track, we will have about 20 to 30 seconds of downtime. We should see that pace car exit the track. And when we do, you know green flag racing is coming up.
Is there any other kind of other kind of racing rather than green flag?
I guess there's no flag racing. That's what they call Highway 285.
I got you. That is true. I think people think that the 285 is the speed limit rather than the route number, but that's neither here nor there, as we are getting ready to bring these SE20s and Spec Miatas and Legend car.
And there's the pace car off track, so we should see the field coming by momentarily.
Matt Seach and Keegan Hall will bring the field down to the line here. Again, this is another 20-minute race. And here we come. Starter with green flag in hand. And here we go. We are under green, and Seach and Hall will lead them across the line and towards turn 1. Matt Seach will lead the pack into turn number 1, followed by Keegan Hall. And that race for the Spec Miatas have Haney and Williamson side by side as they go through turns 3. And let's see, as they emerge out of 3, still side by side going into turn 4. Now that would give Williamson the inside track. But Haney will fall back behind into 4th place overall, 2nd in the class. Behind him would be Raiden Nickel.
And we saw
Chris Hume will fit in between in his BMW, followed by Jeff Terrell in another Beamer.
And Fabiani already making short work of the pack, already up 2 spots.
That'll be one to watch to see where he winds up, or how quickly he can wind his way up to the front of the field. Not only does he have to get around cars, he's got to make up distance and time lost.
And you can see Williamson leading that train up the back hill into turn 13. Single file as our field of Spec Miata Spec E30s come through the back side of the track into that double apex sweeper. And your race leader, Matt Seach, already putting a little bit of a gap on the field as he comes back onto the start-finish, followed closely by Keegan Hall. And then here comes your Miata leader, Keith Williamson. Or not Williamson, I meant that is All right, it is Williamson.
That's Williamson, yep. Then followed by Haney and Nickel. Chris Hune having a good run here. He'll be first in his class. As he and Terrell are one behind the other. Then followed up with Don Elvington and Spec Miata. But the SC30s, 1 and 2 would be Chris Hune and Jeff Terrell. As we watch Matt Seach coming through turn number 6, followed by Keegan Hall. Meanwhile, Kyle Haney bearing down on Keith Williamson for first place in Spec Miata. But look out for Raiden Nickel lying in wait there. Let's go back through the field. Oh, there goes Blake Fabiani looking to work his way around more cars. He's made up, 2 spots. I don't know that he's gotten any further ahead. It's a little tougher than one might imagine to get past. Catching is one thing, passing is another, they always say.
You can see Blake all the way in the bottom side of your corner, diving into 8 and 9, although not able to gain a position as he comes up the back hill. As you see the rest of the field working their way through 12, 13, and 14. Your leader, Williamson, making his way into turn 15 right now. Should see him back into camera view momentarily.
Leader Matt Seach has already put 5 seconds on Keegan Hall, and as the Spec Miatas come to the line, Williamson will be your leader, and he will be 11 seconds back off of the overall leader. But the difference between the Spec Miatas has been about 9/10 back to another 1/10 back to Raiden Nickel.
And Nickel is turning up the heat there on Haney right now as he is fighting for position. Williamson's got the benefit of not having to fend off Fabiani right now, so he's got a little bit of breathing room. But if Haney keeps blocking the door or shutting the door on Nickel, that might leave Williamson open for the majority of this race, although we'll see what happens here, Bill, because 20 minutes is a lot of racing.
Well, there goes Blake Fabiani, I believe, around Bill Criggs. He was kind of helping him through turn 4, but he's gained another position as he comes in, and we got a car off the track right in front of him. Scott Carlisle got a little wide, did a little off-roading there, but managed to keep it under control, but that would be Blake Fabiani's next target as we disappear over the hill in 7 and out of sight, or at least out of my sight.
And as you can see on our AMP Skycam, the field taken to the back side of the track.
Is that trademarked?
It will be after this race.
Oh, okay.
As your field pretty much going single file. Oh, Fabiani getting a little loose there. As you remember last month, he spun out in that exact same position during race 2. Manages to keep it on track and not spin out. That'll be something to watch as this race wears on.
Williamson still your leader, but Raiden Nickel making a move to the outside on Kyle Haney. Was thinking about it going into 1. This should be a good one to watch this lap. Chris Hune still hanging in there. First in the SE30 class. As they come through turn number 4, let's watch Raiden Nickel as he hammers away at Kyle Haney. And you wonder if Haney is just serving as a buffer between Nickel and Williamson, as that gap is starting to close a little bit too. Meanwhile, Blake Fabiani has closed it up a good bit with who do you have here?
That was Carlisle.
Carlisle, thank you. Yeah, I was looking back. My scoring is a little wonky here as I was looking to see who was right in front of him, but that's not what scoring had. Yep, so Carlisle has a rear view mirror full of Blake Fabiani as your overall leader. Matt Seach comes to the line again. That last lap was at 1:32.262. His best time was about a 10th faster. As we hear him roaring alone.
And it looks like Keegan Hall is having some trouble as he pulls off the track.
But here goes Nickel to the inside. Has position going into turn 1 and has second place in the Spec Miata division.
Well, let's see
as
if
he
he's
gets
got
around
enough.
Kyle Haney, but Haney's going to try to pull him going up the hill into 3.
Haney took the wide line. He carried more momentum, but did not have enough time heading into that 2-3 complex. It's real important. You got to get ahead of him, Bill, because if you're on that outside line going into 2-3, you're going to be stuck on the outside for the carousel. So you've got to get out there, shut that door so you can set up the proper line going through the carousel.
Well, now that Raiden Nickel has second place, can he do anything with Keith Williamson?
Well, all he's got ahead of him is open track and the rear bumper of Keith Williamson, so we will see what he can do with that.
Oh, look at this. Carlisle has already made the move back on Blake Fabiani as they go into 6. Fabiani looking to return the favor, got a little bit out of shape as they got together on the exit of 6. And
looks like Carlisle carried a little bit more momentum out of that turn and was able to maintain the position.
And so Fabiani will just play follow the leader with him over the hill. We'll see if he can mount any more of an attack, but Carlisle is definitely being difficult to deal with.
And you can see your top 4 right there of Williamson, Haney, Nickel, and Hun all running bumper to bumper there, coming through turn 15. Should come back into view here momentarily.
Keegan Hall back on the track, by the way, as we see him going through turn number 4 here.
Maybe he had a roll-through penalty. I don't know. Might have to stick my head into race control and ask.
Well, it looks like Raiden Nickel is putting some distance between himself and Kyle Haney and perhaps closing in on Keith Williamson. Meanwhile, Blake Fabiani not able to do anything with Scott Carlisle. But coming out of turn 6, evenly spaced trio of Williamson, Nickel, and Haney. Then comes Chris Hune, and behind him in another SE30, Jeff Terrell. Then will come Elvington and Hobbs. And then that battle between Scott Carlisle and Blake Fabiani. Fabiani was thinking about getting to the inside as they crested the hill out of turn 7, but nothing doing there.
You should be able to see in the upper left-hand corner of your screen that yellow car coming right into view. As Fabiani is trying his best to get around. And you can see them coming up now through turns 12 and 13. Fabiani, looked like he tried to dip a little bit to the inside, but thought better of it. I don't think the back end of his car likes that turn very well, so there's only so much he can dig into that turn.
So coming past the line, Raiden Nickel looking to try a move to the outside. Will he have the momentum coming out? Looking to duck underneath. He closed a little bit, not enough to get alongside, although he's taking it wide, going through 2 and 3.
Williamson better watch out because Raiden Nickel, 3-class champion, back at our kart track. This is his first season competing with the big boys up at Main Track.
And here they come out of 4. Raiden Nickel right on the bumper of Keith Williamson. He's taking those turns a little bit lower, catching a little more of those rumble strips. And as he goes over the hill and out of our vantage point, still on the bumper of Keith Williamson. We are 7 laps into this 20-minute second race, and we are already halfway through. We've been so enraptured by the action on the track, we lost track of time. We only got 9 minutes to go in this one.
And as you see, your top 3 pretty tight there coming through the backside of the track. Williamson, Nickel going through 14, that double apex, huge sweeper. And there goes Fabiani and Carlisle.
So coming out of turn 16 to the line is going to be your leader, Keith Williamson. Nickel looking to the inside, trying to outbreak him there side by side.
He's going to
Nickel
dive it.
Has the position in the corner. He'll come out. Does Williamson have the momentum to take it back? Coming up the hill. Doesn't look like he's going to. We may very well have a new leader coming out of turn one. Let's see if that survives going into four, and it looks like it will.
It looked like Williamson tried to duck back to the inside, but I think he thought better of it because he didn't have the momentum coming out of one.
And with that, Kyle Haney closes in onto the back door, the back bumper of Keith Williamson. So now your leader in the Spec Miata class is Raiden Nickel, followed by Keith Williamson and then Kyle Haney. Of course, the overall leader, Matt Seach, checking out as expected. He's 34.5 seconds ahead of the first Spec Miata, but we've got a race going on here. 3-car battle now between Williamson, Nickel, and Haney. Or should I say Nickel, Williamson, and Haney. Meanwhile, Blake Fabiani still not able to cleanly get around Scott Carlisle, and he's hanging the tail out coming out of 6. Trying everything he can to get around him. They put distance between the 3 cars behind them, but
and here are your leaders coming through the back. Looks like Nickel breaking up a little, or pulling a little bit of a gap over Williamson. We will see how it gets scored across the line, but if this holds, this will be young Raiden Nickel's first lap leading a race on the big track here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. I know his family is down on the balcony cheering him on right now. Let's see this time by if it holds.
It looks like it will.
Your race leader, Raiden Nickel, taking his first lap across the start-finish. As a race leader, this kid's got a lot in front of him right now, only 13 years old, racing in our series.
And he has the rest of his class behind him right now in this race. But I believe Keith Williamson and Kyle Haney will have something to say about that before it's all said and done in the next 6.5 minutes left in this race. At the line, Nickel had a 6.161 gap, so about almost 2/10 lead over Keith Williamson. But Williamson is by no means letting him get out of his sight. Your leader back in the SC30 class, by the way, Chris Hughes, still hanging on there. He's put a bit of a gap between himself and Jeff Terrell. That gap is around 6 seconds.
And Fabiani, as we were just watching there on camera, trying to take that inside line. He's been doing it all race, but it has not been working for him. Carlisle is pulling out all the stops to keep him from getting by. Oh, Chris Hunn hanging on to that thing as he manhandles it through 13. I don't know if you saw that from the drone shot, but he almost had that thing sideways, managed to pull it back together and stay straight. You can tell these tires and brakes are starting to wear a little bit.
Your leader, Matt Seach, completing lap 10, as does Raiden Nickel and Keith Williamson now, along with Kyle Haney. Here comes the aforementioned Keith Hune across the line. 5 minutes to go in this one. 5 minutes to go, so we are 3/4 of the way through. And I don't think we're through with the action, though, especially in the front of that Spec Miata class.
It looks like Fabiani was able to make the pass on Carlisle that time. We must have missed it on the backside of the track while we were covering the leaders.
Now we'll see if Carlisle can get it back. But with 5 minutes to go and the amount of room he's got to make up, that's going to be a tall order for Blake Fabiani to improve his position much better than what it is right now.
As your leaders are making their way onto the backside of the track, Raiden Nickel with about a 4-car length lead over Keith Williamson right now. Haney not too far behind Williamson, but that is your 1, 2, 3 right now in Spec Miata as they go through 12 and 13. And you can see these cars, that is a downhill off-camber turn, so it looks kind of flat from the camera angle, but when you're out there, it is every bit an aggressive turn. It's kind of like Laguna Seca, the corkscrew, but not as aggressive. And the weight is all over the place in those cars, and if you are not careful, the back end will get around and you will lose it quick.
To the line now, Raiden Nickel, still your leader. Keith Williamson in second, Kyle Haney in third. The gap from first to second has grown to about half a second now for Raiden Nickel. And otherwise, everything's spread out. Otherwise, the cars are pretty well spaced here.
And it looks like Nichols opened that lead up just a little bit as the field goes diving into 6.
Kyle Haney closing in a little bit on Keith Williamson as well. So maybe a battle for second in the Spec Miata class shaping up in the next 3 minutes. So we would say, what, a couple laps to go?
I would say, yeah, we're going to be at least 2 to go. Might be the white flag next time, not this upcoming lap. But we'll see as your leaders currently in turn 13. Still 1, 2, 3, Nichols, Williamson, and Haney. Hun has kind of got a little bit of a gap ahead of him and a gap behind him. He's all by himself right now. First in his class, 5th overall. As your Spec Miata leaders come back into frame.
No flag there. So it should be next time by, white flag for leader Matt Seach, one would assume.
Yeah, he's running a minute 33 right now, his last lap, so I feel safe to say 2 to go this time. Or it'll be 1 to go next time.
1 to go next time, and flagman is taking up the white flag, indicating 1 lap to go. And we should see, as the tail end of the Spec Miatas come through, we'll should see Matt Seach very soon. Coming out of 16 into the line. There we go. White flag is out. 1 more to go here for everybody around here. Matt Seach coming by, and then we'll see that battle between Raiden Nickel, Keith Williamson, and Kyle Haney.
And you can see them coming into the screen right here at the top of your screen. Going up that back hill, all 98 feet of it. And that blind left-right turn there at the top from 12 and 13. As that sets up that big backhand double apex sweeper. And you can see the drivers going just off camera behind the trees into 15.
And we'll see them come out of 16 any moment now, down to the last lap of this race to determine the winner of this second race. White flag is out for Raiden Nickel. Opened up a little bit of a gap between himself and Keith Williamson. Meanwhile, Kyle Haney lingering back there in 3rd, waiting for a mistake.
And it only takes 1. We saw it last month, Bill.
Absolutely.
Blake Fabiani, with about 3 laps to go, sent it a little too hard into 14. And that was it, giving Williamson an easy time bagging the victory in race 2 last month.
Well, Williamson trying to close the gap to Nickel. He had it coming out of 1, closed a little bit, but Raiden Nickel able to open it up a hair going into coming out of 2, now into 6. Who's got the most brakes right now? We had that brake discussion during the downforce race. That could very well figure in it as these Spec Miatas eat the brakes.
And Matt Seach crosses the finish line. We missed it as we're following the Miatas.
Well, I don't think he was ever any question he was going to win his classification, so that's
and here go the leaders in the Spec Miata up the back hill. Williamson closing that gap a little bit, trying to push it hard. Might have pushed it a little too hard as Raiden Nickel pulls away from him coming into 14. Only 2 more turns. We'll see if he can hold on. This will be big, ladies and gentlemen. His first start, or his second start.
First win.
First win. Let's see, not to jinx it as he comes by.
As he comes out of 16, Williamson takes a peek to the inside, but it's not going to happen. Checkered flag falls. Raiden Nickel, your winner here in the Spec Miata class in the second race. Keith Williamson will be second, and Kyle Haney 3rd in class. Chris Hune will come across as your winner in the SE30s. Jeff Terrell hitting the line now. He'll be in second, 6th overall. Then Don Elvington just nipping Ben Hobbs for 7th and 8th. And then 9th place will be Blake Fabiani after all that. And a game Scott Carlisle will finish 10th overall. And finally, we'll have Matt White, Keegan Hall, Rodriguez Walker, Bill Criggs. So that was quite a race too, and kind of in a different way. We need to find out what the scoop was on Blake Fabiani though, because without him, I don't know whether he could have put up a fight with Raiden Nickel or not.
Well, he spent a little too much time back there trying to fight off Scott Carlisle, and I think that held him up for the first half of the race and didn't give him an opportunity. And it looks like we got Red Rescue out on track. Not sure where he is going. Maybe a piece of debris or a recovery right now. But yeah, we'll need to go get the scoop. I'll have to talk to Blake here during the podium ceremony and see what was going on. Could have been just a competition shuffle on his part, just having a little bit more to drive against, although you would think driving against Williamson all race would be what you'd want to go after. But we'll have to ask him and find out more, and maybe we'll report back to you next month, folks. As you can see, our broadcast booth here on the top of the clubhouse here at AMP. We should go on a short break here momentarily.
You see me?
You waving at the camera?
I'm waving at the camera, yeah.
I'm under the tent, so they can't see me waving.
Okay, well, I'm that guy just to the left. I don't see where's the drone? Oh, there it is, right there. Oh, okay.
Hey, you know you're hot. Everybody in the building can hear us.
Well, I've been told that. Anyway, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with you for the second round.